What is going on, BenchWarmers? Welcome back to another fantastic episode. We have a lot to go over. Yes, we are a little shy today. Nick is getting a nice little close up because we have a lot to discuss. He's excited, or are you excited, Nick? I don't know. Are you disappointed?
No, I'm excited.
Okay, excited. All right, good. Excitement is a good thing. Guy, how are you feeling today? Oh, he did silence his answer.
We can just skip over me. It's fine. I'm perfectly okay with that.
One person we won't be skipping over today because he's not here is Marco El Dormido. He has to take care of some things, but we will definitely move on and get this podcast out to you guys, and then Marco will definitely be helping us out afterwards to get the production to all this finalized and completed. So before we get into the matchups today, definitely want to thank everybody for listening and watching. I really appreciate all that good stuff. Subscriptions, followings, all that. It's really, really appreciated. Again, a rating and a review on the podcast goes a long, long way in helping us out and continue growing and hopefully getting more voices here on the bench with us. So if you want to come share your voice, come do so. All our things are in the description down below. BenchWarmers FC, BenchWarmers FC1 is pretty much the same thing throughout everything. And thank you for that. Before we get into the games, anything you guys want to get? How was your New Year's, by the way, guys? Happy New Year's to everybody. It's January 3rd. I just realized that. I'm sorry, man. Look, 2022. My head is elsewhere. I was miserable this past weekend. I'm still not out of the woods yet, but I feel much better. Just a little congestion. Drinking this bad boy to give me some energy today, so that way I'll bring some life onto the pod. But yeah, Happy New Year's, guys. Nick, I didn't see you because usually we do spend it together, but our family had an outbreak of the vid. So we quarantined and celebrated New Year's in our own homes. How was that for you, Nick?
It was pretty strange.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, it was
we're used to always getting together every year. And it's like till like 5 a.m, people drinking. And this year, although we got together for Christmas, which is honestly looking back at it, probably a mistake. But it's still kind of like weird. Like, oh man, it's been. I'm over this, man. I'm over this pandemic, man. I want the vid to get the fuck out of here already. I want to kick the fuck out. I want to use VAR on it, but VAR is super inconsistent, so there's no point.
But at least we played Among Us.
Oh yeah, Among Us was fucking amazing. That we had 11 people on that one night.
Yeah.
That was.
I never would have thought your brother would join, bro.
Dude, he loved it. He fucking loved it. He texted me, "Yo, you getting on tonight?" I'm like, he liked it.
He's scratching.
But yeah, listen, anybody out there who's played Among Us and would want to get a game, let us know. We would love to do that because it's always fun to get the toxicity out of each other because we definitely throw each other under the bus and lie to each other both ways. But yeah, how was your New Year's, man? How was it with you and the lady at home?
It was good. I mean, we also had to cancel ours just for security. Just trying to play safe, unfortunately. So It was just me and her. We got some Chinese food. We watched The Honeymooners. So it was it was pretty good. I mean, I don't mind that. I mean, I'm a homebody when I want to be, which is most of the time. So I was fine.
No, I definitely second you on that, man. I love being. If I could be at home all day, every day, I definitely would. It's just like during the holidays, it's a little bit different. Like I'm used to being with my parent, my bio parents, and like everybody else. So it was a little bit different this year, and it sucks, just like having like the shakes, bro. It was it was horrible. But we move on, as Ben White says, we move, which will move into the footballing action that happened this past weekend. So if there's anything else that you guys want to get off your chest, if not, we move forward.
Let's do it.
Oh, I think the one thing real quick, I mean, this was probably the first time because New Year's Day was on a Saturday. It was the first time all season that I actually watched some soccer on a Saturday. It was awesome.
Actually genuinely sat down and watched the games.
Yeah.
And it was good.
Yeah,
it was cool to
cool.
watch the games, especially for the festive schedule. For everybody who's wondering why I'm saying this is because between us here and about 5 other people, we actually made a parlay bet, which if you would have hit, we would have each gotten paid out at least 10 grand. The funny part is Marco would have been hit with the tax issues at the end of the bet, but
that's true.
That's true. He's clear because I don't think anybody thought about that until the bet was made. I'm like, oh wait a minute, who's gonna claim the tax at the end of the year? Funny Marco because he's the one making the bet.
Shit,
but
banker over here didn't think of that either.
So, well, luckily for him, unluckily for all of us, the best never went through. I think we lost it on. Who did we lose it on?
West Ham
We lost
Palace.
early. We lost on West Ham.
Oh yeah, but I was at West Ham. We said a draw, and that game ended 3-2, which we'll talk
That's
about that shortly.
listen,
So
even though we lost it anyway in the end, Diego and I were the only ones that said West Ham were going to win. So you guys should have listened to us.
okay,
A bunch
did you
of
get
I
every other
told you
game right?
so.
Wait, what did you say?
A bunch of I told you so.
I know, right? I know, right? Here they come now. Here they come now.
Split. It was split. Two of us said win,
Look,
and you guys decided to go draw.
Let me ask you one thing. What result did you have today for United?
Okay,
so
no, we lost it anyway. Don't worry about today.
All right, so
We'll skip today. Don't worry.
I think we were. Well, you got 3 games out of the 8 games right for the whole weekend.
Yeah,
I will say
like
it did add an extra spice and excitement to watching the game. So I think I'm going to be doing it more regularly now. Unfortunately, but I'm going to be doing small bets.
And it was great because I was in the Xbox party with Diego on Saturday morning, and it was like his excitement was great because he never does this. So the fact he was just so excited. I mean, I didn't hear him. He
just have to wait. I
think
he went to get tested or something like that, right?
Who?
Not guy. I think he said to get tested or something like that for the bid.
Yeah, I did after the party after the West Ham game.
And then Crystal Palace and West Ham were playing. The niggas like freaking out every 2 seconds because they're about to draw it up. But we'll definitely get into all that. So, yeah, let's do it. There you go. All right, go. All right. So the first game on the schedule that happened this weekend. I'll be honest, man. I was nervous going into this game just because you look at our track record against like the elite teams right now: Man City, Chelsea, Liverpool. And you've seen how we performed in the past, especially against a team that's already established as Man City are. And the last thing I expected was Arsenal to do is actually play our game and be dominant. Yeah, exactly. I can genuinely say I'm very proud of the way we played, and we went toe-to-toe with, if not the best team in the world right now. So I am gutted because I feel robbed. At the same time, I'm disappointed in individual mistakes because, look, we can't control what the ref does at times, but we can control what our own players do. If Gabriel never lost his head for those 2 seconds, maybe we're looking at a different game. If Martinelli scores 2 seconds ahead of time, we're looking at a different game. But that's the beauty of football is, it's a game of fine margins, and one minor foul, one minor mistake can lead to the whole debacle of a game, which I think this is a perfect instance. In a minute, we lost the game. Literally in a minute. So it gives me hope to see that such a young team can go into this game with so much confidence and play their game and take it to Man City and play better than Man City. The fact that they're so young and these individual mistakes happen, and it gives me comfort knowing that, well, it should give me comfort knowing that in the coming years, those mistakes shouldn't be happening as often. And we are going to upgrade from Xhaka. We are going to move on from Xhaka. So, yeah, be upset with it now, but he was one of our better players that day. It is what it is. But that's my initial reaction to the game. Now, if we take it, now let's dive into the game real quick. I don't want to say, and I don't know about you guys, but up until that red card, which was at the 60th minute, 59th minute to be exact, we dominated that game. The goal that Saka scored was a Man City type of goal scored on them, and it was something that I was actually very surprised to see. The likes of Thomas Partey, oh my God,
he played well,
dude. That was arguably one of his best games in the Arsenal shirt. The way he just completely dominated the midfield. I was surprised, because Rodri, who's I'm fucking such a high right now, that there's no way we're gonna get demolished in the mid. But no, he looked really good. Tomiyasu, I can't throw enough roses for this guy, man. I absolutely love him. He is my favorite player right now. I don't know. This guy cannot do anything wrong for me at the moment. He is such a solid defender. Like, for him, defense comes first, and then we progress from there. We move up from there, which is very good. And I think that kind of reflects why we have, I think, 9-10 clean sheets already. So Ben White, solid performance. Didn't really do anything wrong, honestly. I mean, the whole game, Man City had 2 shots on our goal. That's unheard of, bro. Gabriel, great game until he lost his head. The first yellow card was very stupid. They're saying it was because he was fucking up the penalty spot. In reality, apparently, it was because he went to the ref and said something to him. They didn't even curse him out. He just said something to him, and he got a yellow card for that. So we'll get into the refereeing in a minute, but
But listen,
that
even after he got sent off, like I even told you guys in the chat, like if it wasn't for that little banner that says Arsenal are playing with 10 men, I honestly would have never realized it because you guys still control the game even after.
yeah,
It
yeah,
was fun to watch.
it was. And after seeing like you said, the also with the 10 men, seeing the defensive shift that we put in was very all right. This is a team I want to see. This is a team that's fighting for the badge. This is a team that's running to the ground for the manager. This is a team that believes in what we're doing and wants to continue developing. So, yeah, man, I have a couple theories as to why that's happening now, and I'll bring it up when we talk about United because I have a couple questions for you there, Gat. So we'll save that we'll put that on the back burner for now. Tierney, solid performance. I mean, again, didn't do anything wrong really. The only thing I would say is he got dragged out, leaving Shaka exposed on that one-on-one, and then that's where the penalty came from. That's what Man City want to do. They want to spread you out, get the weakest player on a one-on-one, and they got Shaka on a one-on-one. Now, I think that's where we can kind of go to first. I guess we'll talk about that first. The two penalty claims. Nick, I'm gonna ask you first. How inclined are you to give that penalty against Shaka?
The Shaka and Bernardo Silva one?
Yeah.
Ooh, man.
Like,
I'd like
you're
to.
a ref. Do you give it?
No,
Okay.
no, I wouldn't give it. Just straight up no. Just because I thought it was too. I feel like with pens, when we say it's not a pen, we kind of say too soft. I don't want to say it again, but it was kind of like soft in my opinion. I thought Ronaldo Silva went kind of down easily, which is kind of. Players do that. Players do that nowadays. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was the one where it didn't look like he was already in the process of going down already anyway. Yeah, I mean, I don't mean to cut you off, but no, I probably wouldn't have given it, but it's one of those calls where it could go either way.
And at the end of the day, you never want to give the ref to make the. You never want to have a situation where you have to give the ref to make a decision. You know, like that shouldn't be the case. So he shouldn't have been caught there. He shouldn't have pulled his shirt. Once you slow the cameras down 10 times, it's gonna look bad. But my issue isn't with the actual call itself. I'm okay with it being given a penalty. I get it. I understand. One is Shaka, so they're gonna give it a penalty, even if it doesn't touch him, regardless. Two, my issue is the consistency in VAR. And you guys here, you heard me in the beginning of the season. I'm liking how VAR is being used. It's being used properly. It's being used good. They're finally doing it right. How in the world? I'm still bothered by it. How is it that the Odegaard situation where Edison took his foot out, and I'll be the first one to say I thought it wasn't a penalty at first. I thought he got the ball first, but then once you slow the cameras down like VAR is supposed to, you clearly see he never even touched the ball. In what world? Obviously, in this world, how is it that the ref isn't told to go look at the cameras in that situation, but is told to look at the cameras in the other situation? Can either of you guys explain it to me? I don't understand. I don't get it. I tried finding reasoning. I tried finding ref opinions, and I just nothing makes sense to me.
I mean, it also seems like nothing makes sense to them either. So I have no idea what goes on in that bar room, what goes on in their heads as they're deciding should we review this, should we review that. I have no idea because, like you said, I mean, I initially thought it wasn't a penalty. It looked, I mean, real time, it looks like he got the ball.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, when you slow it down, you can see that Odegaard's foot just turned the right way, so he hit the ball, and then Ederson caught his foot and brought him down. So I don't know why they can't slow it down like that every single time. I have no idea.
Nick, if you had to give a rating to VAR halfway through the season, at this point, what would you give it? And we'll give it a 1 out of 5. Or if you want to give it A, B, C, D, E, F, I'm sorry, A, B, C, D, F rating.
I'd give it a 3.5, 3.5.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. It's average.
It's average. It's kind of what I've probably expected from VAR, especially in the Premier League, which is kind of weird because like in the World Cup 2018, VAR was pretty good. In other leagues, VAR is pretty good, and kind of like the Premier League is the best league in the world. You kind of think that it'd probably have the best things with VAR or whatnot. They don't. I don't know. Maybe there's not enough like pressure onto the referees from the actual referee board. I honestly I have no idea. I have no idea why it's not as consistent as maybe other leagues. And like I just said, World Cup 2018. It's weird. It's yeah. I don't really have like anything to explain on that because the VAR was just introduced in 2018. VAR was just introduced what 3 years ago, 2019, 2020. So it's not like we can go off that much evidence or basis or whatnot.
That's true. And you said one thing there that I've been hearing a lot of shout for is adding the pressure. One thing that I would love to see the Premier League do is have the referees come out and answer why certain things weren't done. Just
Dude,
like
they would fold.
exactly.
They
That's
would
my point.
fold.
Just like the
They would
players have to
they
come out
would
after a bad
run away.
performance. Luke Shaw, he had to come out today and give an interview, and he was look. I gave him respect because he was brutally honest and he called it out for what it was. Ragnick came out, called it out for what it was. Tuchel came out, called it out for what it was. Klopp wasn't there, but like all these managers, players have to come out, give interviews, answer the questions, be the face of the club or of the organization, and kind of give you a reasoning as to why things didn't go or why they did go the way you wanted to. Why aren't the refs being held accountable for the same thing when they're influencing the game to such a degree that it's going to cause you to either lose points or not gain the points that you should gain? Would you guys be a fan of having refs give post-match interviews and give their decisions?
Absolutely, all or nothing referee edition. I'm waiting for that.
You've been saying that.
I would absolutely love it just because obviously we've never seen it before. But if I'm the Premier League and if I'm the chairman, from a business point of view, if I introduce this kind of interviews, no one's ever seen it before. So that obviously attracts so many viewers. I don't understand why they wouldn't do it. And obviously, like I just said, it could you would see a whole completely different perspective just because we've seen the perspective from coach, fans, players. We've never seen the perspective from refs. All we see when we
It's
see
our
refs
opinions.
talk about the game, it's like on other podcasts or on YouTube videos with maybe Jamie Carragher or Gary Neville and whatnot. We've literally never seen refs like Mike Dean, um, so many other refs actually come
Yeah.
out and say, "All right, this game, da 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 da." Like I've never seen anything like that. And if we were to see something like that, dude, like they'd fold. They'd fold.
Yeah, yeah. And I know we kind of fell off the rails talking about the Arsenal Man City game, but this is where we are now with the referees. I feel like as a whole, as a Premier League, as fans of of our teams, our clubs, there continues to be issues and errors, and it just overall kind of affects I guess our trust or maybe our faith in the officiating of the game. I get it; it's supposed to have the human element, the human error of it all, but when you have situations like this one where there's two penalties and you decide to look at one, not the other, it just boggles my mind that these refs aren't held accountable and just just get away with it and just overall just kind of change the outcome of the game. Again, I'm not saying that it's because of him we lost. We still had to do our own part, but referees have a huge part to play in how the momentum of the game goes and just the tempo of the game. I think he lost it. The fact that Man City only got one yellow card in the 94th minute kind of shows that and we had like yellow cards at the wazoo is like he just lost the game. But we'll continue progressing. Saka looking better and better and better each single game. Earlier this season, I was talking to Kyle, who's another Arsenal fan, and we were talking about each other. Like, who would you want to like kind of like build around? Emil Smith Rowe and Saka. For a moment, I was saying Emil Smith Rowe because I felt like his game was more well rounded. But now, the more that I look at it, I look like Saka. It looks like Saka is just becoming an all around threat, and he's really becoming that generational talent for us, which is for a club that can save you hundreds of millions of dollars. So Saka is blowing my expectations. I think he has 6 goals in the last. Sorry, 6 goal contributions in the last 5 games, something like that. I got to double check, but he's looking better and better each game. All they got is growing into the system as well. Nick, I can see your point where he looks like a true 10 because the way he holds the ball and just, I mean, if you compare this game to the previous Man City game, all they got was a ghost last game. This game, he actually did manage to do work, and it's unfortunate, that he had to get subbed off because of the red card, but he had a great game. Martinelli, I've never seen Joao Cancelo that uncomfortable. I've never seen him that like, somebody press him and beat him like the way Martinelli actually kind of was trying to do and did on a couple of occasions. It's kind of it's good to see that these young players are growing in confidence in that aspect. So, and like I said, leaving the line, he had a decent game. Again, overall, I think everybody had a great game. Just the one moment of Arsenal shooting themselves in the foot that cost us the game. Growing pains with the young team. But I want to take it to the Man City side now. As well as we played, do you guys think that the fact that Man City have had so many games back to back, because granted we did have one of our games canceled because of COVID, but do you think that we faced a strong Man City or we faced a tired, lackluster Man City? Yeah, go to you first.
I mean, when you think of Man City, I mean, you just look at the squad that they have, and there really should never, and the way they play, it really should never be an excuse that they're tired. So I think you guys did face a strong Man City squad. I just think you guys wanted it more, to be honest, because I mean, Man City at the end of the day, they could have three squads that they can put out and they can demolish any team in the Prem and all over the world. So I think you guys just wanted it more.
That's fair. Nick.
It's probably a case of both. We probably all know like Man City have an abundance of players and whatnot. But when you win so many games, you play so many games, they're bound to have some tired legs and whatnot. And especially this game, and you mentioned like Cancelo kind of being like on his toes or on his heels or whatnot against Martinelli, kind of being like shaky. I feel like a lot of teams give too much respect to Man City. And I feel like in this game, when it kind of showed that if you do go up against Man City and you actually take it to them with full confidence and not just pull your pants down and just say,
Full
all right, come on,
confidence. Yeah.
let's not just sit two
Beware.
banks of four because
Mm-hmm.
that's a death trap for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you go against Man City and you actually take it to them, you're not gonna win all the time. But there's a good chance you can get actually something out the game just because, like you mentioned, the best thing City can play against is what two banks of four you just pack in and settle inside the box. That's it.
So pick
When
your
you actually
part.
take it to Man City, it's I'm not trying to say they've never gone up against it, but it's a different kind of like situation, I guess, or element that um Pep's side has to kind of like think about like, oh my God, Arsenal coming to us with Martinelli and Saka on the wings and not just sitting back and then just full counterattack football.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, that was kind of my point on Man City. And there'll probably be more cases against us with Man City. We kind of saw like Crystal Palace in the beginning, maybe probably in the Champions League or whatnot. But yeah, they're the best team in the world right now. But every team has its flaws, and it's probably in my opinion their flaw. Well, not really their flaw, but it's definitely a way to play against them. It's probably the best way to play against them. But yeah,
Yeah, no, I mean to your point, if you sit against Man City, all they're gonna do is do exactly what they did
yeah,
when
you'll lose
when
five
they got
0
yeah, you exactly. You'll lose 5-0 because they'll just pick you apart, find the individuals one on ones and just beat you because they have the skill and they have the players. And I think Man City are probably the only team to have probably like for like players in each position, like skill wise, to be so talented. So I mean, it's a credit to them for the team that they built. That's why they are where they are. They are at the pinnacle of their, I guess, of their career, of their history. I don't see them getting any better. I just can't see that really happening because they're just so dominant right now. But we'll see what happens. Yeah, Man City managed to scrape away a very last second goal. That was probably the most gutted I've felt all season, honestly, because such a great performance to go down that way in flames. It hurts so bad. You saw the way the players reacted. It's not something that you've seen in the recent history where they're just like they all look like they got punched in the stomach hard as hell. Before they were like, for a moment as an Arsenal fan, losses kind of just like, it just became like a norm. Like, another loss. It is what it is. But like now it's like, damn, man, this one hurt. This one stung. So it's
Yeah,
a big
especially
credit. Yeah, what?
this one. It's a very undeserved win for Man City. And I know Rodri woke up that day and he's like, you know what? I'm not going to trim my toenails today. I feel like I might need that extra little inch or two, because if you see his goal, it's amazing how he was able to get a foot on that. It was
Dude, it
crazy.
was luck. It was a deflection of
It was
Ben White that
crazy.
landed right back at him. I think Aaron Ramsdale was a little bit too far off his line. If he was a little bit on his line, I think he might have been able to get that. But I mean, it's at that point, it's just pinball in the middle of the box. You can't really control what's going to happen there. But yeah, man, gutted. Happy to see the progress we've made. If you're an Arsenal fan, if you're neutral, if you're a rival, and you're curious to see if there's progress in this Arsenal side, I mean, it's in the pudding. They've been progressing up and up and up. So the signs are there. Execution's got to be there. Consistency is the key to success. If they can continue to be in, I guess, confident in playing the way that Arteta wants to play, sky's the limit at this point. Again, such a young squad. What, 15 games in now? Man City have been together for years, so exciting times. Again, still very disappointed, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. This is football. Like I think Bernal said it earlier, this is the only sport where you can be clinically depressed in 1 minute and then on cloud nine the next minute. For me, it was quite the opposite. I was on cloud nine the first minute, and I was clinically depressed by the end of the game. So, yeah, that's that. Now let's take it to to our rivals, Arsenal rivals, to Spurs going traveling to Watford, and they managed to scrape away a 1-0 victory, keeping our hopes of the parlay alive, which was all a hoax at the end of the day. But did you guys watch this game first of all? Oh yeah, we all watched it together, didn't we?
This game was so bad.
It, so all right, there's this
I'm
big.
sorry. I'm sorry, Watford supporters. I'm sorry, Josue. Not really, but this game was so bad. They both teams just did not look like they wanted to play, and it was crazy.
I mean, all right, I'm gonna piggyback off of what you said. It was a bad performance on both ends. But there's this dialogue going around the Prem right now where Spurs are unbeaten under Conte, this, that, and the other. I'm getting similar vibes to how, and not to troll or anything about when Ollie, when he was on that good run. Oh, we're on that good run. Yeah, but it's kind of like a smokescreen to like what's really, the problems that are really underneath. Um, do you think this? And Josue said it in the chat earlier. They're gonna win two trophies this year: Carabao and FA Cup.
Screenshot that
It's
babe, that bad
screenshotted. It's
boy.
screenshotted. But do you guys like Nick? I'm going to you first. Do you think that this is a realistic opportunity for Spurs? You said the reason I'm going to you first is because you said you can see it happening, and I sort of agree with you. But these performances haven't been the most convincing. He is undefeated. Do you think that this is they're progressing in the right way, and are they going to make any big transfers this window? Because the window is now open.
They should make big transfers. I think they probably need a pretty semi transfer overhaul, especially in the defense and probably their wing backs, probably their right. Um, but I feel like I feel like Conte is just an elite manager. I feel like with elite managers, they kind of have like this luck on their side, where when the going gets tough or whatnot, and maybe the performances aren't as great, they probably scrape away results. And we probably heard like the you play bad, you get a result or whatnot. But I feel like with Conte, he's like such an elite manager, especially in terms of the league, maybe not in Europe, that there's just going to be this one point where it just starts clicking. Whether that's as a collective unit, whether that's Son and Kane, Lucas Moura just start going off on fire, or whether that's just probably scrape results, like I just said. But in my opinion, I just feel like something will click along the way and probably be in this like January towards between maybe March, when it is just probably start getting things right. Um, and there's not really kind of like a foundation there. And it's all down due to the manager. Like those players aren't good. I'm sorry, but like
Yeah.
Ben Davies, Davinson Sanchez, they're not good. Conte's good. The squad isn't good, but like I just said, Conte's good.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, no, it's gonna be all down to the manager. You have to do somehow get something out of the season, which
Mhm.
they probably should. Kane and Son aren't gonna get any younger. They have a decent team, especially in going up front. But yeah, Conte, an elite manager with a decent squad. I think something will click there. Yeah,
I mean, yeah, like he's an elite manager. He has a track record to show for it. He's done it. For almost every club he's been to. Kat, is there a little resentment when you look at Spurs and the run that they're on? That you guys never went to for Conte?
No, not really, because I said it back then. We needed someone a little bit more long term. Granted, I know Ralph is still technically considered short term because he's
But
only
he's
here
there
to
for the
the end of
long
the
term, though.
season, right? But he's there,
Yeah,
right? But he's there for the long term, whether it's
exactly.
in the coaching aspect or in the sporting director or whatever role he was supposed to take on after. So no, not really. No resentment. I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, it is Conte. He is, like you said, an elite manager. So I mean, things will click eventually, and that's honestly what I'm a little nervous of because I have a feeling it's going to click at the wrong time for all of us. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, well, the race is getting super tight for top four at this point. It's definitely between Arsenal, Spurs, and West Ham and United. So keep an eye out for that race. It's gonna get interesting. Spurs.
Question.
What's up?
All right. You got West Ham, Arsenal, United, and Spurs, right? I want you to rank them in terms from best to worst in terms of getting top four. Like most
Hon-
likely and then
honestly,
unlikely.
honestly,
I
the
want you
way
guys to rank
it's
those four.
honestly
Damn, it's hard.
the way it's looking in the table right now is probably the best way to do it. Arsenal, West Ham, Spurs, and United
Uh I mean, I
on
disagree.
current form.
Yeah, but you guys have a lot of games in hand, and I know. Look, games in hand aren't guaranteed points, but like Nick said, you have an elite manager who manages to scrape out these wins. If you get just 1-0 wins for the games that Spurs have in hand, I'm saying you guys, like if you guys are Spurs fans, if Spurs get 1-0 wins for the games that they have in hand, they're fourth place, and that's what they've been doing. So based off of that, and Nick, to answer your question, I mean, as an Arsenal fan, you never really want to say it, but um, no, actually, you know what? Just giving current form, I would say Arsenal, Spurs, West Ham, then United.
Whoa.
And that's not the troll on United. That's just it's their system.
That's just the truth.
I look in the beginning of the season. You guys heard me say it. United are going to push for the title. I was wrong. I still think individually on paper they have one of the best teams in the world. But if you can have the best team in the world, but if the system doesn't suit the
Do
players,
they actually?
yeah, dude. I mean, come on, they do. They do. They have players who have records, who have accomplishments. Whether they're in form now or they're performing good now, that's a different case.
I mean, all right, let's go through it. Wan-Bissaka, he's not good enough.
Not good
Maguire,
enough.
he's not good enough.
Nah. Phil Jones is better than him, by the way, today, but we'll talk about that.
We got Phil Jones. That's what we need to-
McFred, he's not good enough. We can argue about Varane.
Varane.
And you know what? What those players that I just mentioned is the sole core. I've always been big on the core of a team.
Yeah.
I've always been so big. The goalkeeper, the center back, the DM, the core. All those players I just mentioned are part of that core. They're just not good enough players.
All right. Hold that thought, Nick, because that's a United talk. We have a lot to talk about United. So hold that thought because we're going to dive into that. And I have a lot of questions to. Damn, I kind of want to fast forward a little bit because I have some questions regarding that, but I don't want to get too excited yet. So hold that thought. We'll get into that in just a minute. But let me throw it back at you. Who's your top four out of those teams you mentioned?
Arsenal, Spurs, United, West Ham.
Okay, so very similar to what we're seeing now. Okay. All right. So before we get into the game that did happen today, which is the United game, we'll quickly touch on just Leeds United. Leeds 3-1, Burnley going down. Just get the hell out of here, please. I'm over Brexit football.
Did you guys see that Rafinha miss?
Yeah, I saw that one.
Oh wait, the one he hit the side net.
That one? He had an open net. All he had to do was leave his foot there, and I don't know what the heck was going on in his head.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
So Leeds 3-1 on the bounce. That's good for them. Burnley continue going down. Get them the fuck out of here. I'm all for that. Everton and Brighton. Everton are just shit. I don't know what the answer for them is. I've been seeing some people saying that Rooney should go to coach there. Come on, man.
That's like sympathy.
That exactly.
Like he was a childhood hero. He left our club at the age of 16.
No.
And what has he done? Or not.
I mean, look, I can't sit here and say what has he done because that does a brand new coach coaching Arsenal. But honestly, like dude, he hasn't. There's no reason why he should go coach a Premier League team who should be challenging for top 6. He doesn't. He should not be even touching that team right now. But Brighton, on the other hand, looking really good. I want to give a quick shout out to Bissouma. I think he's one of the most elite defensive midfielders, not only in the league but in the game. Just because he can. If you look at his heat maps, he's everywhere, dude. And his ability to pick out a pass from deep is very impressive, and his dribbling, his comfort on, he's all around. He's an all around player, and the way he just dominates the midfield for Brighton in almost every game he plays.
He'd be great for any team.
Where do you guys? I mean, obviously he's gonna leave. He's gonna go to a bigger club. Obviously, where do you see him going? Yeah, I'll go you first.
I mean, bias. I mean, if we can't get Rice anytime soon, I hope he comes to us.
I mean, that's realistically that would be a huge um attribute to your team, requirement for your team, because you guys are definitely missing that player. But yeah, wow, United. Okay, Nick, where do you see him going?
It was actually one of my like top midfield choices in the summer for Liverpool, to replace Ronaldo. But I feel like he'd kill it for Inter. I don't know.
Inter.
Yeah, I don't know.
Wow.
I feel like next to like Brozovic or Borella, I don't know. I feel like he'd kill it there. But he deserves a bigger club than Brighton for sure. He's an elite midfielder, and I feel like with players like that we kind of associate who play for teams like kind of below 10, I feel like they kind of get disrespected. Like there's this thing with like English
And Ramsdale.
bias. Exactly. There's like this thing with English bias, like, oh, he's only good because of English or whatnot. And I completely agree to an extent of that, but I also believe that there's like another flip of the coin, another side to the coin of that, where I believe because they kind of play in the English Premier League and kind of associate that with, hard Brexit, and they maybe don't play as fancy or sexy football as maybe La Liga or Ligue 1. There's so many quality players in those mid-table clubs. You just mentioned Ramsdale, Basuma. There's so many players. I just feel like in those below 10 clubs, they kind of don't get that much shade outside of the Premier League. Whereas maybe a lot of Premier League fans look at Bundesliga players or La Liga players. Like, for example, in La Liga, you kind of compare Brighton to Real Betis. You kind of associate Real Betis better than Brighton.
I'm gonna ask
but
you
in
that.
reality, Brighton probably probably not, but like Brighton's also like a good club with good players. I mean, Basuma's right there. So I just feel like people kind of disrespect the below 10 clubs in my overall, all in all.
Yeah. I mean, look, that's one thing you have to if you're a good club, if you have a club that's really good at recruitment, that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna go to these clubs that are, below 10th place and pick out elite players to make their team better, or they have the potential to make them better. And that's I think that's a perfect example in the championship why a lot of teams go to the championship to acquire players. It's the league below the first division, and yet these top division teams are going down there to pick players. It's because there's quality in the game. It's just a matter of having the eye for talent and seeing the potential that each player has. So yeah,
a great example of that. Sorry to cut you off. Is Danjuma. I don't know if you guys know him. He played for Bournemouth last season, Dutch left winger. We had a pretty decent championship season last year. Villarreal pick him up. He's killing over there. A step up from championship to La Liga, in our minds, is probably like a huge step up, which it probably is. But damn, like championship to La Liga, and he's killing it for Villarreal, which is a top club in La Liga.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and also in the Champions League. This guy's killing the Champions League. Championship to Champions League is.
Yeah.
Don't undermine and underrate like players, like I just said, below 10th, maybe in a championship, because there's a lot of quality players. Like before West Ham were good, Declan Rice was there. Yep. A lot of people weren't batting an eye towards him. Declan Rice could probably get into a lot of top European clubs.
Oh yeah.
A lot of he could probably start for like Atletico Madrid. And
that's
this is
exactly that's a very
it's a big shout, but like West Ham to Atletico.
Mm-hmm.
The past years, Atletico is so much superior.
Yeah.
But a lot of these clubs have quality players. You can probably start for a lot of top clubs in Europe.
I mean, keep an eye out, because I feel like this is going to be a busy summer for a lot of teams this summer coming up, because, I mean, January, we never really see a lot of transfers. I will say maybe Newcastle might make a lot of noise this window because they have to, especially if they want to stay in the top flight, given their current position. But this summer, I'd expect a lot of noise, not as much as this past window. I don't think that's ever going to be matched again with Ronaldo, Messi, Lukaku, all that. But I do see, like Basuma, all these like Declan Rice, all these players that have potential to move on. I think that's very near in the future to happen. So we'll see where they go. Keep an eye out for that. Maybe this window, who knows? Anything can happen at this point. The next game, Brentford versus Villa. Now, Brentford win 2-1. Villa, if I'm not mistaken, they lost the past couple games, right? Let me pull up the results. Hold on. So they lost to Brentford.
Lost against Chelsea, won against
Lost to
Norwich.
Chelsea. They beat Leicester.
So yeah, 3 losses out of 4 games. Their last 4 games.
You think
Which, to
Gerard?
be fair, 2 of them with Chelsea and Liverpool. But yeah,
I can't. I mean,
Wh-
Brentford at
wh-
home is a good team.
what are your thoughts on, like, it's kind of like off topic, but I've seen like a lot of, like, especially like on Twitter with certain Arsenal fans where they kind of associate Liverpool and Man City like as free hits.
So,
Like, what are your thoughts on that for Arsenal and like other clubs?
all right. I'll tell you this. In the beginning of the season, seeing where we were and how we were performing, knowing that we're still in this building process, I will say that those early games against City, Liverpool, and Chelsea, they were. I wouldn't say they were free hits, but they weren't a game to measure our season by. You can't look at that game and be like, oh, this is where we are. No, these teams are at the peak of their level. So for me to say that's a measuring stick for me, no. I'm not gonna say I want them to go in there and just bend over and take it up the ass for against them. No, that's not what I'm saying neither. It's all about the performance. If there's a performance there, if there's more positive than negatives, I'm okay with the loss. I'm never gonna be happy with a loss. For example, this Man City Arsenal this past weekend. I'm disappointed, but I'm happy with the performance. So I'm not saying it was a free hit because I know we could have gotten something out of that. But I see why, man. It's hard to answer because a lot of teams. If you're Brentford and you lose, or if you're Aston Villa and you lose to Liverpool and Chelsea, it's expected.
I guess it kind of like determines on how you actually play.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
state of the game. Yeah.
If you go there and you don't touch the ball for like 60 minutes out of the whole 90, that's not a good performance, and that's not a free hit. That's the problem they get to address there. So I'm not a fan of the free hits. I think it's a learning tool to use, but I mean, I get why people say that. It maybe is just a way to ease the pain when you do lose. That's the way I took it when we faced City, Liverpool, and Chelsea early on. Oh, it's a free hit. That way, the loss doesn't hurt as much. But seeing where at least where we are now, I don't want any more free hits. I want to challenge each game going forward. So that's that. But yeah, Brentford 2-1. Who scored for Brentford? Wisa
and Borislev.
Okay. And Danny Ings scored a beautiful goal in the beginning to open the game. I did see that goal, which is a nice goal from assist from Buendia, who has kind of like this all season long. Haven't really seen much from him. He's another example. MVP of the championship this season prior, and he's struggling right now in the Premier League. So
yeah, I guess it's pretty much to everything in life. There's two sides of
yeah,
a coin to it, So
exactly.
In the first half, though, I mean, he did do pretty okay linking up with Danny Ings. I mean,
Oh yeah.
I don't know why this Villa squad they just can't play with Ings and Watkins. Like they can only play with one. I don't understand what the issue is. They can't link them together. I have no idea, but
What
they
are your
couldn't
guys'
put out
thoughts
big guys
on
in the second half.
Watkins? Yeah, I'll go to you first. What are your thoughts on Watkins? He's bringing him up right now, and the reason I ask you is because he's linked to a move away. So, what are your thoughts on him?
I like him. You know, he gets in some good spaces. You know, he does make some good runs. Um, yeah, I mean, overall, I think he's a pretty decent player.
Nick, do you see potential with him to becoming? I wouldn't say one of the best in the world, but a threat in the Premier League.
for another club for a step higher than Villa, no.
No,
For Villa, yes. I don't think he'd cut it enough for another top club ahead of Villa. Maybe obviously he's linked to Arsenal or whatnot. I definitely don't think he'd cut it at Liverpool. I don't think he's just that star, that breakout star that a lot of top clubs in the world probably need, especially in the Premier League. There's a lot of teams in the Premier League who probably need a striker.
Yeah.
Arsenal, United. Yeah, I know. He's a weird player because he gets in good positions, but we've always mentioned like his decision making is kind of like it's very off. He doesn't tend to make the right decision and whatnot, which is kind of like
He's a striker.
yeah. You can kind of compare like Tony to Watkins. Tony probably he makes the right decision more of the time. He's maybe not as clinical as Watkins. Whereas Watkins is the polar opposite. Which one would you guys rather have? A striker who makes a key decision in terms of link up and maybe be like creating, but is not as clinical, and vice versa, where a striker who is clinical, but maybe towards the other like areas of the game, he's not as.
So it's funny you asked me that, and I feel like that's the current situation that we're in now. Where you look at Lacazette, he's great for the link up, but his finishing isn't always there. You look at Aubameyang, maybe not this season, but this maybe not last season either, but the season prior, the finishing was there, but the buildup wasn't there. So we've always had like one or the other. We've never had a combination of both. But what I take at this current moment, just given the way that Arsenal play, I would have to give it to somebody like Lacazette who can build up play and bring the ball forward. And then, maybe he won't get, 15, 20 goals in the season, but he'll get more contributions than he'll get at least 10 contributions at least. That's what I would take. I think the days of having a lone striker up top and just have him do whatever he wants, not build up play, I think those days are gone now. I think Pep has revolutionized the game again in another way. But yeah, that's what I would take. I just think it suits our system more, and it's just the way that I see football going. It's not. I don't think a left back is a left back, a right back is a right back, a center back is a center back. I mean, it's everybody plays everything. Everybody's got to get behind the ball. Everybody's got to progress the ball. It's a unit now. So
I think in today's game, just with every team, like you can see, like it is not about just the strikers anymore. Like everyone is contributing on the pitch. So I would definitely agree. I would take someone who makes the right decisions, even if they're not as clinical, because not only does that help everybody, obviously, if you're creating the chance for somebody else, then you just hope that they put in, but that also puts pressure on the other team because now they have no idea who they should be looking out for if everybody's contributing.
Exactly. So what if you go from having just one threat to having like Liverpool, for example, if you guys had just Salah and like average other attackers, nobody would be scared of you guys, to be honest. But the fact that you have Salah, who's a threat, Jota, who's a threat, Mane, who's a threat, Chamberlain, who's a threat from outside the 18 at times, Fabinho, who can take a shot from outside. When everybody in the field can produce that moment of brilliance, it makes you doubt yourself. It makes you second guess every decision you make on the pitch. So, yeah, I like what you said, guy. When you have a player who can kind of contribute and make everybody else around them better, it makes overall the threat just that much more intense. So, yeah, that's a very good point.
It'd probably be playing like with Chris Paul.
Yeah, exactly. Chris Paul.
Right? Like Chris Paul's teammates probably love playing with him.
Exactly. And
maybe he's not the best scorer, but yeah.
And Nick, you know me. I was never a fan of Chris Paul in the beginning, but once I saw him go on this, and for anybody who's wondering who the Chris Paul is, if you live under a rock, he's a point guard who plays in the Phoenix Suns. Phenomenal historical records. It's just he never has won a championship. But if I look at the way he's playing now with Suns, it's a different role. He's not the one that's like scoring all the points. He's the one making everybody else around him better, which makes the whole team that much better, which is why they're such a threat now. So yeah, that's an excellent point. You hit the nail right on the head on that one. Good call. Good shout. So yeah, that's it. That's the Brentford Villa game. Let's get into the wait, hold on. We were just talking about about a striker that you would take nowadays.
You guys answered it. It was
Nick, who would you take? I mean, you have a player in Firmino. What would you consider him? An all around, like a bit of both, or more of just a build up?
Both. These past couple of seasons, you've probably definitely seen his finishing has declined massively since probably like 17, 18, 19. He was never like that really much of a clinical player. But his all around game is like, especially in his peak year, was phenomenal. I think he would fit any team in his peak years like a glove. He was just good. He was good at every facet of the game.
I texted you. I think if we had prime Firmino in Arsenal right now,
he'd kill it.
I just feel
He'd be so good.
He'd be a different animal.
He was unplayable on his day.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
he's so unpredictable.
Yeah, the way for the skill he has to pick out a pass when there's nothing there, when he's like surrounded by players, is insane, man. But
to answer your question though, Liverpool have never really signed like an out and out number 9.
The last one I can think of was who? Andy Carroll, maybe.
I honestly probably Benteke.
Oh, Benteke, yeah, maybe.
Firmino isn't like a traditional number 9, so
like
to answer your question, it'd probably be more of like a winger who Klopp can turn into an inside forward and basically become a striker. Couple names to mind. Who?
Jesus
from City.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He played striker this past weekend. He's a winger. I don't think he's a striker. Is he a striker? Do you guys?
He is a striker. He's like.
I mean, technically, I think that's what he is.
He's more of a winger, man.
I see him. Yeah, I see him better as a winger. This Pep, man, they don't need a damn striker. It's infuriating.
Well, imagine they did have a striker.
But for that question, yeah, no, I'd probably look towards a couple names: Rafinha, Luis Diaz.
Luis Diaz is linked to you guys heavily, from what I've been reading.
Yeah, but he's gonna cost a bag. He's been playing great for Porto. He's a great player to watch. For anyone who hasn't watched him, watch him for Porto, and especially like if you probably watch him during his Champions League games, he's a great player. He's tall, but he's tricky with his feet. Joga bonito. He's just fun to watch. Right? Yeah.
He's doing a lot of noise in the social. So, yeah, man, this transfer window is going to be a good chance for a lot of teams to bulk up and muscle up and get some more depth in their squad. So we'll see if Liverpool splash the bag on him. But speaking of Liverpool, let's take it to them next. Chelsea 2, Liverpool 2. First question here, guys. And Nick, I'm gonna give you your minute to get in your soapbox and express how you felt about the game and everything. But before you get into all that, let me ask you this: do you think Tuchel dropping Lukaku was the right choice? And if so, or if not, did it cost them the league because of this draw?
Did it cost them the league? No. Did it probably cost him the 3 points this game? Yes, because Havertz is not good. Yeah, he didn't do anything in the game. Lukaku, he can do something. Maybe he hasn't done it these past, I guess, his Chelsea career this year. But he's always going to be a threat. Havertz isn't a threat. He probably won't be a threat. Yeah. And I kind of rated Havertz before.
Yeah, I think we all did.
Yeah.
The Champions League final was a lie. It was I said, like I always say, it was a smoke screen.
But yeah, no, go on.
Sorry. I mean, I think it was an unfortunate situation that Tuchel got put in because I agree with Nick. It cost them the 3 points. I don't think it cost them the league. I think it was still the right choice because as Tuchel being the manager of such a big club, you have to. You'd have to make those tough decisions. You have to make sure that it's always the right decision, and something like that, you can't really allow that to just continue and just be on the pitch. So it was the right decision. Unfortunately, it did cost them the 3 points, but it was still the right decision.
All right. Do you think he's forcing his move out of the club?
Me or guy?
Either one of you. I mean, it's a hard question to ask because at the top of my head, I can't answer that.
Lukaku forcing his way?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he is, which is kind of like it's a bitchy move, like kind of like a bratty move.
I've never been a fan of his, but I've never been against him either. Like, if you get what I'm saying, like I never really minded him. Whatever he was at, he was at. But now I'm really disliking him. I feel like he thinks he's harder than any player out there just because he has the build.
There's this one clip during the Euros when Belgium beat Portugal. It was like after Lukaku, like when players after the game, like the older player goes to the younger players, kind of gives them like, like you're gonna be a great player. Lukaku went over to Cristiano Ronaldo and he started doing that. I'm like, bro, he's chatting up to Ronaldo.
Dude,
but yeah, no, I understand.
I don't get him, man. I had him as a top goal scorer going into the season. I was my predictions this season were off by a mile mark, man. I will be the first one to say that I am wrong in all my predictions, but I mean, Gat, did you see this outcome happening with Lukaku? That this, I'm gonna say, early on in his comeback to Chelsea.
I mean, I don't think anyone saw it coming. I mean, I do think that it's probably a way for him to try to maybe he's kind of second guessing himself, like, okay, I came here thinking it was the right thing to do, but I'm not so sure anymore. So I think it does seem like this is his way of just crying out that he just doesn't want to be there, and it's unfortunate. But I mean, no one saw it coming, but it's stupid.
Well,
It's
there's
so
a
disrespectful as well
huge, man, to the
to
Absolutely.
club, to the
everyone.
fans, to the owners, to everybody. I mean, fuck the owners first of all because they can just throw money at everything they want. But still, it's just like a big fuck you to them from Lukaku. So we'll see what happens with that. There's a lot of rumors coming out of this, and I wanna get your guys, um, I guess prediction on how likely this is to happen. Let's give it some context. Lukaku has played with Conte at Inter. They they fucking won it. Kane wants to leave Spurs. It's it's obvious that we all know that this whole summer was a big magnifying glass in that whole situation. How likely do you guys think it is that Lukaku and Kane do the swap? Yeah, I'll go to you first.
Like a direct swap, one go like
Direct
from
swap, or I
Chelsea to
mean,
Spurs, or
that's what the rumor is. The rumor is Spurs want to bring Lukaku in because he has that Conte connection. Realistically, I think they would have to get rid of Kane as well, just for the wages and the overall price. But do you
I
think
think
it's
the
something that's very likely, or do you think it's just noise?
I think the issue for me now that this is as big as it is like who's gonna look in his direction now if he's being a brat
Conte, he played with
to
Conte.
Good point.
Chelsea, but still he's being a brat. Like, why would you want to like bring that in and risk that him doing that to you? Like, I hope it's not likely. I mean,
That's a
he
good
can
point.
go back to Serie A or somewhere else.
That's a fair point. Talk to see in the dressing room. We all see what that can do. Nick, what are your thoughts on this? Do you think it's something that could happen, or again, like Gat said, is just like why would it even happen? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I probably agree a little bit more towards Gat. It kind of be just a stupid deal for Spurs to side. Um, it'd probably be pretty good deal for Chelsea, to be honest. But
Mm,
as a swap deal, would it Spurs would get robbed off of it. But I can see Kane going to Chelsea. Um, but yeah, no, I completely agree with Gat. Like, I don't see how. Like, why would you want to take that risk? Like, Chelsea bought Lukaku for 100 bags, and obviously they didn't know he was going to come out with this. But now looking at it from other top clubs, why would you buy him?
yeah,
There's no point. Why would you
yeah,
take that risk? And even if he does perform well, why would you want to take that risk where he probably upsets the dressing room?
yeah. That's a fair point. So I mean, look, there's a lot of noise happening in the Chelsea camp right now. Things aren't looking as sunny as we all thought it was. But Liverpool had a very this was one of the most exciting games I've seen. It was just back and forth, fast paced.
What a
And what a
game!
game, Nick. I want to give you your moment to get on your soapbox and give us your reaction to the game. So I'm gonna ask you this question, then you can take it from there because this happened in the first 5 seconds of the game, where Mane was already in the middle of a controversy call. First, do you think it was a red card? And second, what's your overall reaction to the game?
Number one, no, because he didn't even elbow him. It wasn't even with his elbow. It was like with,
It was his forearm, right?
yeah, it was like for anyone who's watching, it was
It
like
was like his
right here.
forearm. Yeah.
Obviously, it hurts, and I saw it back a million times. I'm like, I've never seen where he hit him with his elbow. I mean, when you get hit with your elbow, it hurts, and that's
Oh yeah.
that's a red card. But he hit him right here, and I don't think it was with that much force. Maybe it is a red card. In my opinion, it's not. It's probably an orange. Um, but yeah,
Well, listen, really quick before you get into it. I mean, the commentators even said it. If this was later on in the game, they send him off, no questions. But the fact that it was
but
literally
why though?
what 20 seconds into the game, like they're not gonna do that to start a game of this magnitude, especially
Because
because
of
I
the
mean he still
foul?
got him he still got him in the face though, didn't he? Doesn't matter what he got
Yeah,
him with.
that's what they're saying. They're saying that because the game was so early on that they didn't. If Mane would have gotten the red card, it would have just completely destroyed the game as a whole. So because it was so early on, they're like, all right, we'll give him a yellow. It's the first foul of the game. It is what it is. But if it was like in the 40th minute and Mane did that, it'd be a red card. So they're saying like, why is timing shouldn't matter? It was. I don't know. I actually don't know what to give it, honestly.
This
Yeah. Do you think it's a red card?
this would have been this would have been a perfect referee interview segment right here at the end of
Yeah,
that game.
I don't know what to give it
This
because
would've
I
been-
actually saw a referee interview and he said it wasn't a red card because if you look at Mane, he never intentionally went in there to hurt him, and like Nick said, he didn't catch him with the elbow; he caught him with the forearm. The only I guess rebuttal that if you're a Chelsea fan you can have is Mane put his arm up there and endangered the player, but.
Yeah.
I don't know where I fall on this because I look at it like Nick said. I look at it both sides. It was a kind of a coming together. Mane wasn't really trying to hurt him, but at the end of the day, it is kind of endangering him. Gad, do you think it was a red card?
I think it still was. I mean, it's still. I mean, just the way that it happened. Yes, it might have been a coming together, but I still think it could have been given as a red card. Yeah.
All right,
I swear
Nick.
that happens like 10 times in every single Premier League game.
Yeah, but like that though.
Yeah, I mean, I see where you're coming from. Like,
Like,
yeah, I do see it a
I can
lot.
understand. I can understand like if they're tracking back and they're like in a struggle and like maybe the hand goes back. But this was like he went forward.
Yeah, I don't know where I sit on this. Honestly, I kind of agree with Nick. It's an orange card. Like, yeah, it's a yellow, but I can also see a red. It's one of those where
I
if
think
you're a
it's
Chelsea fan, you're
decision that
upset.
I think it's a decision that has to be made regardless of what the time on the clock is.
Okay,
I think if you're gonna decide it, just be confident about it, stick to it. Go to VAR, whatever you have to do, but don't let it be because it's 20 seconds into the game.
if you're listening out there or watching this, let us know what do you think. Is it a red card? Is it a yellow card? Is it no card? Or is it just a big stink that we're making out of it? I don't know where I sit on this, but Nick, let me get your overall reaction to this game. One of the most exciting games this season. Very fast paced. If you look at it, there's a meme out there, a picture that says the pace of the game, and it's just a picture of Mo Salah and Kante, and they're like all you see is their face and their whole body is blurry because they're just running so fast. Nick, how did you enjoy this game, and was it the result? Is this the result you're happy with traveling to Stamford Bridge and taking a point away from them, or do you feel like it's in a way two drop points?
Oh man, that's a good question. Just because Liverpool were 2-0 up, but it was against the run of play. And looking at it probably back now, like the overall state of the game, Chelsea played a lot better. Liverpool before Liverpool probably scored their second goal. But this game, I was about to say this game was won. But this game was like, I guess I want to say one. I'm gonna say one. Obviously, the result Chelsea didn't win, Liverpool didn't win, but it just felt like Chelsea won just because obviously they came back from a 2-goal deficit. But it just felt like they dominated us, which is kind of expected. So yeah, this game was in the midfield. When you have Milner and Henderson, they're so technically poor. It's not even. I can't stress it about enough, just because they're just with the ball at their feet. I mentioned in last time, they treat it like it's a grenade. And when they don't treat it like it's a grenade, they can't trap it. When they go up against Kovacic, who's what a midfielder. He's so
what
good.
a goal! What a fucking goal!
What a
Obviously,
friggin' goal.
what a goal. He's so technically brilliant. Obviously, paired with Conte. I just don't know why Klopp didn't start Keita. Obviously, Klopp is a phenomenal manager, but I think one of his biggest flaws is loyalty towards players. And I think that's kind of showed this season. And I feel like it's kind of due to partial the media. The media hasn't really put that much spotlight on Jordan Henderson, which I understand. We've seen it countless times. Harry Kane, English. Henderson's sometimes English captain, Liverpool captain. He's been there for 10 years. I get it, right? I get it. But when you're coming out with certain journalists coming out with articles bashing on Naby Keita for, yes, he did have a poor performance away at Atletico Madrid, but Henderson's been so poor this whole season. I mentioned that he's unable to do what he was so good a couple years ago, which is probably a mixture of he's declined with a mixture of something else. He's just not his defensive awareness right now is just, it's not what it used to be. Paired with Milner, who is so technically poor. Like, why is Milner starting in 2022 for Liverpool Football Club? And this is where I go into this is where I mentioned where, like, and I hate doing this because I feel like a lot of people do this where, like, things get bad. They kind of start throwing, like, the kitchen sink out on, like, the top people on the board and transfers. But I have to here just because I feel like with Liverpool, it just feels like they're so behind in terms of transfers and transfer windows. A prime example was last year. They didn't buy a center back when they sold Dejan Lovren. And yes, you can't account for Van Dijk getting an ACL. Joe Gomez, if you guys want to know an interesting story, search up the actual injury that Joe Gomez got. I think he got an injury, which is like one of the rarest injuries you can get, which is, from what I've heard, is like, it's so rare to come back from an injury. I believe it was like something with his tibia. But to progress, Matip was injured in January, and you can't really account for that, right? They didn't bring in a center back to replace Dejan Lovren. They paid the price for that, right? They waited until the last deadline day in the January transfer window to bring in 2 mediocre center backs. This transfer window, they lost literally a Gini Wijnaldum is a 38 league game player, and we can stress about my take on him and his ability on the pitch or whatnot. But what we all say, the best ability is availability, right? He was literally a 38 league game player, failed to replace him. And now you're kind of facing the consequences where, although brilliant footballers, Naby Keita and Thiago Alcantara, they're brilliant footballers when on the pitch, but they're not on the pitch enough. And you have to take that into account, especially in the summer transfer window. Yeah. When you have, yes, maybe we can say Lukaku's been a flop or Jack Grealish has been a flop. But then you have Arsenal bringing in top quality players, United bringing in, maybe we don't rate them as much, but they're still bringing in players. Liverpool just, in terms of transfers, they're that behind. Especially in the midfield. Milner, Henderson, just not good enough. Milner should not be starting for Liverpool 2022. He should be starting in the Carabao Cup. And this is where I bring it on to Henderson, where I just feel like sometimes there's so much loyalty towards some of these players, especially maybe from Klopp. And Naby Keita, a lot of people say he's been injured a lot, which I agree. But this season he hasn't been injured that much. He got injured, I remember, Brighton at home. He literally came off and Liverpool blew another 2-0 lead. He gets injured, he comes back, and he's on the bench. The other week, he played great against Leicester in the League Cup. The next game, he doesn't start. He gets subbed onto the pitch with 80 minutes to go.
You can't do anything, man. You can't influence the game.
I can't stress it enough. Ox also played well. He's been playing pretty decent, in my opinion, this season. He has kind of like, he's a versatile player or whatnot. He plays well one game. He gets dropped the other. For Henderson, maybe for Milner and whatnot, and then he brings them on like with 10 minutes left. And they're not like, Ox isn't a goal. There's not that many goal threat midfielders in the world right now.
So do you think
like he's bringing them on expecting a goal? Keita isn't going to drive the ball forward and pop one out from 20 yards out. Ox can, but he's not as what he used to be. And midfielders aren't as a goal threat maybe they used to be. And he's bringing them on towards that. So this whole game is just kind of like, oh man, I'm out of breath.
I mean, dude, a lot happened in this game. We could talk about. We could spend the whole episode on Kovacic's last goal alone.
But yeah, it was just I don't really want to focus more on this game just because I want to focus more like, which I already did, on like higher things and whatnot in the club.
So let's talk about Klopp for a quick second. And you said one thing when Ox has a good performance, Keita has a good performance, they're benched the next game. One thing that I've noticed as an Arsenal fan with Arteta, one thing I've noticed with Man City, because we kind of base a lot off of what they do as well, is Pep and Arteta, they reward good performances with game time, which is why we see Martinelli starting and Emil Smith-Rowe dropped, who's been having a phenomenal in a season that nobody expected. But he got dropped because Martinelli has been in great form. So do you think that's what Klopp's biggest issue is? He doesn't want to reward good performances. He just rewards, I don't know, work ethic, I guess.
Maybe, man, but I get it. Henderson was he was very good at that league title winning season. Those 2 years that Liverpool won those 2 trophies, it was very good. And I kind of get it. Klopp
has that faith in them, I guess.
He's a man manager. He's probably the best man managing player in the world. He's a very emotional manager, and he gets, in my opinion, too emotionally attached with players. And I feel like you kind of see that with players like Milner and Henderson and whatnot. But yeah, man. This game, after the game, I was like, damn, like where I mentioned a couple minutes ago or whatnot, where the club is kind of like they're kind of behind other clubs. Like you see the likes of Allison, Van Dijk, Trent, Mo Salah, Fabinho. They're failing to like capitalize and maximize on some of like players who don't come around in that long. Yeah, Van Dijk is one of the best center backs in the generation. Go on.
You brought up Allison, and I think who was the keeper that was in the sticks this past weekend?
Kelleher.
He was phenomenal.
Yeah, he was good.
And look, this is just hypothetical. This is just me, just just talking shit with you guys. Who is there anybody on this Liverpool squad that you'd cash in on right now? And the reason why I asked about the goalkeeper is because the way he performed against Chelsea, who are, let's be real, one of the best teams in the Premier League right now, he seems like he's ready to take on the mantle and be that next goalkeeper. And it would give Liverpool the chance to cash in on Alisson. I'm not saying that's anywhere near the truth, but is there somebody like that in your squad right now that you could see like, all right, you know what? Maybe we have another player that can take over him. Let's get rid of him, get some money now, and bring in some more players. Is there anybody in the squad like that right now?
That's the easy question.
Mane and get money out of
Mane and Firmino. That should have been
Mane and Firmino.
That should have been done two transfer windows ago. Mane probably should have been another player. Like Liverpool are they're probably the best club in the world who can turn, I don't want to say nothing player, but yes, a nothing player to one of the best players in the world. A prime example is, again, Mo Salah, Sadio Mane from Southampton, Diogo Jota from for Wolves. There's some of the best, like they have some of the best scouting, probably the best scouting department in terms of just picking transfers. Do that again. You're the best in the world at it. And to answer your question, Mane and Firmino, and if they should probably get sold this summer.
Damn, Mane and Firmino.
I feel like a lot of this in Liverpool's fan base, everyone's too nice, and I know like fans like they have no say in like what the club do and whatnot. But I feel like there's too much sympathy towards this player, and I get it. Liverpool haven't won a league title in 30 years. They've been pretty shit prior 2016. I get it. These players are phenomenal players. Mane, Firmino on their peak, phenomenal players.
They've given Liverpool fans something to hold on to again.
Exactly. Sometimes you just have to let go. And Sir Alex Ferguson, one of the best managers of all time, said it perfectly. Where you have to refresh your squad.
You have to bring in a player every week.
Even when he win,
man. Just even a challenge, when he win that competition inside.
After City lost the Champions League final, I don't know, I think he's CEO or club director, one of those. And again, City, a lot of money and whatnot. But he literally said, we have to keep getting fresher blood. What that does is it brings competition to places. Mm-hmm. I can talk about this subject for the whole year and whatnot.
It's not only Liverpool; it's everybody in the same situation. Because if you look at, we get to get to you there now. So I don't want to fall off the rails here. Is there anything else that you guys want to touch on in this game? I shouted out Bissouma. I got to shout out Salah on that another Salah type goal. A little feint of the shoulder, completely sold Marco Alonso, and then just chipped it over Mendy. That is Salah in the current game. He is the best in the world. Do you guys have any other thoughts or anything to mention about this game? And then we can take it on to the last game of the week.
Well, I think just the only thing I want to say, just to answer your first question about, I think if you simplify it, you go up 2-0 and you lose that lead, you drop points. So it's unfortunate. It's weird to say this, but it seemed like they took their foot off the gas a little, but it was still such a freaking phenomenal game. It was great to watch. But anytime you go up 2-0, whether it's home or away,
like the tactics kind of like fall out went out the window at this point.
It was a ping pong game. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was so back and forth. It was beyond exciting. But
what's it called? I want to mention the last one thing. We kind of like associate like players like Henderson and Milner, like they're so like tactically aware. They know what to do, but it's like the completely opposite with them. And maybe some other players like them who play like Milner and Henderson, where it's like they're so rash, maybe in their challenges, and they're so like rash, and they're like just tactically and whatnot. And right now, that's happening with Henderson and Milner. And Liverpool had no control in the midfield. So why not bring on Keita, um, who can keep the ball, who can spray passes, who can actually play in the Chelsea box. When he actually got subbed on, he was actually playing football in Chelsea's own half, not just spraying it around the sideways.
Horseshoe, yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, no, lack of control. And I just feel like technically players are so like they're so gifted just because they can turn the game on any. They can
Well,
keep the ball, spray and whatnot.
and that's the thing. That's what the game has gone to. Like, I feel like if you want to be successful in today's game, the first thing you got to be able to have in your locker is to be comfortable on the ball. If you're not comfortable taking a player on or just controlling the ball, passing it out, you're not gonna succeed in this league. It's just too fast paced, and the press is getting better and better and better each season as we go by. Players are getting faster, stronger, more intelligent. So yeah, the players got to evolve just like the game is evolving. So that's a very good point. So Chelsea 2, Liverpool 2. The point to for Man City and Chelsea, which is the second place, is a 10-point gap. I don't see this changing in any way. I will be the first to say I think. Well, I congratulate Man City on winning the Premier League again. Do you guys have anything, any other thoughts that might not happen?
I mean, I will always err on the side of math and probability as long as it's mathematically possible for somebody else to
Yeah,
take
of
it.
course.
Then
You
I'm
sound like a
not gonna
United fan.
say
You sound like a United fan right now. Mathematically possible.
no.
You're such a United fan, bro. Oh
I've
my
always been
god.
pragmatic. Like I'm not gonna go ahead and say City win the league. I mean, yes, it's very very likely that they will, but I mean they're not gonna go undefeated the rest of the season. You know what? They very well might, but I don't think they will. So it's just a matter of Chelsea and Liverpool just trying to keep up the pace and grind out the wins when they need them.
Nick, are you throwing in the towel and giving the trophy to Man City again?
Well, it doesn't really matter. I'm a fan, but um, yeah, no, they definitely won it. If I'm probably a Liverpool player, I'll just in my mind just like
Champions League.
if yeah, obviously in that if City like if they do slip up, which they will, they'll they'll
You
they'll draw a
think?
game.
I don't know.
Yeah, they'll draw a game. They'll draw a
Yeah.
game.
Wait,
They'll
what is
probably lose the game. But what I'm trying
three
to say
games?
is,
They have to catch up by now, right?
uh, and
Well,
I hate
4 games.
mentioning this games in hand because they're not automatic 3 points. But
Exactly.
if the big word if it's like 8 points if Liverpool do win their game in hand. But what I'm trying to say is like if City do slip, I just want Liverpool and if I'm a Chelsea fan to like them be in contention.
Mm-hmm.
Um, to be like
Press.
exactly if City maybe do slip up, just be there, be
Yeah.
on their tail. Maybe you probably won't win it, but if something were to happen, maybe you can.
Yeah, I
If
mean,
City slip up more, you just want to keep taking games. In Liverpool position and Chelsea position, you just want to keep taking over games and trying to get points. And when City do slip up, you just want to be like in and around there.
Yeah, that's a
But
fair
yeah,
point. Yeah, you don't want to give it to them. You want to make sure you continue the pressure. So that's a good point. But speaking of pressure, it's starting to mount already, and it's mounting heavily in Old Trafford right now. Gat, I'm gonna give you the option. I have a couple of things I want to ask you off the bat. So do you want me to ask you right away, or do you want to kind of get things off your chest about this game?
Well, I mean, I actually have something to do, so I gotta bounce.
This bitch, fuck out of here. Well, yeah, man. Look,
No, I mean that's whatever.
all right. So
I mean, I will say for real quick before you start, I will say I hate I hate games during the week. It is so difficult for me to just watch the game. So I didn't even watch this. I didn't have
yeah,
to watch it. I'm glad I didn't watch it.
yeah. I mean, I'll be honest, man.
I haven't even seen the full highlights yet because I got home so late and they weren't even up yet. So,
Dude.
but I don't have to watch the game to know exactly what happened. So go for it.
So all right. Phil Jones starting today. That was probably the biggest news headline of the day. Personally, I don't think he had a bad game. I think he was arguably one of your best players on the pitch. But one thing I
And
noticed.
that is like the sole reason where for me to read in the group chat that Phil Jones was the best player of the game, that's just
Yeah,
mind-boggling. Like,
yeah,
what the hell is going on?
and that leads me to my next point. Where I feel that the recruitment for United has actually taken you guys backwards, and specifically the signing of Ronaldo. Yes, I was here in the beginning. and I was giving you guys all the praise. You guys made the right move, but hindsight is always 2020, right? When you look at the likes of Mason Greenwood, Marcus Rashford, yeah, maybe he hasn't been the best in form. But if you want to build a club that is passionate, that bleeds its culture, you can't go out buying all these players and not giving your academy players a route to um to express themselves, to fight for the badge, that are actually there because they love the club. I look at Liverpool, I look at City, I look at Arsenal. We are all using our academy players. And look, I'm not saying that's the main reason why things are looking so positive, but when you look at these teams, you can see that there's a culture, there's a philosophy, there's an idea, there's passion behind the way they play. When I looked at United today, I didn't see that. Ronaldo as a captain, no motivation. He was, I don't know what he was playing today. We got to see the Ronaldo Cavani link up top. I'm sorry to say, man, it did not work out. I don't know if it's the formation that Rekka Ralph is playing, but overall as a whole, I mean, I know that this is a rabbit hole we can fall into, but what do you think is the core problem here at United? Because
It's the
yeah, you guys
players.
won against Burnley, what, 3-1. I told you before, I don't think that was a 3-1 performance. It was realistically a 2-1 because one was an own goal, and it still wasn't that good of a game. Look at Norwich, look at Newcastle, bottom of the league. You guys made them look like prime Barcelona. So again, individual players, I think you guys have one of the best teams. Maybe not defensively, now that Nick called it out, but you guys are very top heavy. And the fact that you can only register 2 shots on goal in this entire game at home, there there's there's some big problems boiling underneath.
Yeah,
So
it's definitely the players hands down. I mean, we all know the kind of manager that Ralph is. You know, the pedigree that he has, everything he was able to do. He's come in here. He's trying to implement a new system. Yes, it's not something that the players are used to. I'm surprised that they're taking this long to adapt to it, especially since most of our team are they're young. They should be able to adapt to something like this. So I'm not.
and they
So
play
it's
together.
absolutely right. It's absolutely the players. I mean, I don't know where they are mentally. There's just a huge disconnect right now. I mean, we need players like your Phil Jones who comes today, 2 years since he last played a game, and he looks like he just played last week. Like it was insane. We need those players that are fighting for the badge, and right now we don't have too many of them. We don't have too many. We have Cavani who fights for the badge no matter what team he's on. Phil Jones played his heart out today. We can't keep relying on De Gea to keep the score line what it was because he keeps bailing us out, and we just need more heart all around. And
So
that Cavani cap, I mean, not Cavani, the Ronaldo captain today. As soon as I saw that, I was not sure why he didn't give it to Matic. He could have given it to De Gea yeah,
that's
but I don't
unfair.
know. I don't know what's going on because, like you said, there's no motivation when it's Ronaldo captain because it's Ronaldo at the end of the day. He wants everything for himself. He expects you to always pass it to him. I
That
mean, it is. I mean, I don't know.
I don't
It's
I
a,
don't
it's a mental issue.
I don't want to like before we go any further about this game. That's one thing I really want to mention is the game. Whenever Ronaldo's on a team, whether it be Real Madrid, Juventus, wherever he's at, the game has to revolve around him. I said it in this podcast earlier. I think the game has evolved past that point. You can't have a striker and have him just be a striker and just give every single ball to him. Nico called it before. That sounds like hero ball to us. Just ping the ball to him, and if he scores, congratulations. Which has happened a lot this season with Ronaldo. Like he bailed you guys out early on. Looking at it now, though, how do you rate this signing? And my follow up question to that is, what's the overhaul that you would expect that would make the right changes?
I mean, now looking at it now, I mean, it clearly probably wasn't the best signing. It was heavily marketing and
More emotional
him
than
coming back. The
actual.
store, yeah, it was very storyline based. Oh, he's gonna go to the rival. We can't let that happen. So let's sign him and see what happens. Everyone at the time was like, oh, it's Ronaldo. Of course he's gonna come back and do great things. Which you know what? Listen, he still is.
Yeah, yes.
But it can't be just about him. We have the amount of talent we have on this squad to pretty much tell them, roll over and just give the ball up front to him and see what he does with it. Like that's not gonna work. That's not going to work. I mean, right now he signed for what 2 years. So I mean, he's just got to get benched more. To be honest, I mean, I can't see us getting rid of him because he's still a game changer no matter
Of
where he
course.
goes.
Yeah.
So listen, bench him. Make
What's
Cavani
the
the either make Cavani the sole striker. Put Greenwood up top with him. Put Sancho. Anyone. But bench him. Make him come on later, and see what happens. But if he's on the pitch, it sucks because it kind of it limits everybody else because they
mhm.
all expect to go to him, and if God forbid, like today I did see one where I think it was Sancho. He had the ball, he was it was like with 2-on-2 or three
I
on two
saw
or
it.
something like that.
Yeah.
He took respect to Sancho for taking the shot. I'm never going to be mad for a player taking a shot from there, but you had Ronaldo wide open on the left, just pass it to him. But in situations like that, I mean, of course Ronaldo's going to be mad, and it's just going to put everybody down.
So what's the overhaul that you'd expect to see that would bring in change, or what do you? I guess what players do you want to see brought in? Do you want to see more academy players in the lineup? Do you want to see them get rid of like the likes of Juan Mata, who's still there, Phil Jones, who granted he had a good game, but like, do they have to get rid of this dead wood and bring in hungrier, younger players? Because if I look at who was it? I was just reading about this. Brandon Williams. He's in Norwich now, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
They gave him an extension. Do you know how much they're paying him? 50K a week. What the fuck has he done to deserve that? So it's like United are just. I don't want to say it's the manager or anything like that. I think I showed Nick this podcast earlier called the Football Terrorist, where this guy is brutally honest with everything that is United. He it all roots down to one thing, which is the Glazers. They don't care. They'll just splash some money on a fancy new player to make the fans happy. That player is not going to come in hungry. They're just going to come in, collect a paycheck, and just go on about their day. We've seen it day in, day out, day in, day out. Lukaku, Di Maria, um, Ronaldo now. I mean, yeah, he's still doing work, but I'm saying like, it's there's just not that drive for competition. It's just more like, you know what, we'll just get a big name player, give him a bunch of money and whatever. So his point was stop feeding the beast, stop giving Manchester United more money, and by that he means stop buying United gear, which as a fan is kind of hard to ask for from another fan, especially if you support that club. But that to me speaks volumes when you see a player like Brandon Williams who's in Norwich now, and United gave him a 50,000 a week contract. Like where are they rewarding good performances? It seems like they're rewarding mediocrity. Last
Yeah,
year,
I mean,
go on.
no, I was just gonna say, money has always been said it's the root of all evil. I mean, unfortunately, that if that keeps happening, it's just not gonna end well. We definitely need players that want to play for the badge. I mean, and not to, I mean, the players we have, you would think would want to play for the badge, but I don't understand what's going on with them mentally. And maybe it is just they just want to collect the paycheck and that's it. We just, you know what, we just if we gotta thin out the squad and overhaul the entire thing, I mean, I'm not against that. I mean, if anyone is to do it, I think it would be Ralph. I mean, we saw his lineup choices. I mean, he'll gladly bench Bruno. He'll gladly bench Ronaldo if it's needed. So if there's anyone to do it, it's definitely him.
Well, he has a busy, I guess, transfer window, end of the year for him coming up. Wolves, I definitely want to, shine some light on them, give them some credit. Uh, I mean, again, not to sound like I'm bantering, but they played United off the park today. Let's pull up the stats real quick. I just want to
Yeah,
see
I
this
mean, it,
because,
it just real quick while you pull that up. I
yeah,
mean, if I were a neutral, I would have definitely thought that this game was a classic. United are in like 17th place, trying to make their way into mid table, and it's unfortunate.
I mean, yeah.
So I mean,
So
credit to Wolves. They took it to us, and we just had no response. We had no idea what to do when we were off the ball. We gave who was it, Moutinho, all that space in the world to just gather and take that shot. I mean, hey,
I mean, look, Ralph is aka the godfather of pressing football. I did not see United press one time.
I don't know.
Not at all. Nick, did you see anything like that today?
No, I don't know why. I remember like when he signed for United, I was like, oh my god, they got
All
the
of us.
Godfather of press.
We were all Nick. Look, I'm not gonna come
Oh
on
man.
here saying that, I call no. We were all here saying, oh shit, look out. United made a big appointment. But I told Gat this in text earlier. You can have the best manager, you can have the best system, but if your players don't suit the system, you're not going to go anywhere. Nick, you didn't see any
And
pressure
we'll
today, did you?
No,
I saw it from Wolves.
and I saw it, and in particular from the midfield, and obviously pressing is the whole team. But again, 90% of the games is most likely probably one in the midfield. João Moutinho, which phenomenal player, man. I don't for
and Neves,
Portugal
they
and
ran
Ruben
circles in the
Neves,
midfield.
they ran McTominay and Matic in all aspects of the game.
McTominay is the biggest like tease of all. He'll have a banger against Burnley, but then once you go up a team that's pressuring you, like Wolves did today, his pocket was getting picked left and right.
You know who he reminds me of? McTominay, Henderson. Who's like he's a hard runner, can hit the ball well. Both are very good ball strikers. But when it comes to like a very technical game where every touch matters and every like missed touch matters a lot, they fade out. They fade out,
Yeah,
especially with McTominay.
yeah, and he got a yellow card this game, a stupid yellow card, so that means he misses the next match, which I
He
think is kind
misses
of a
the next
blessing in
game.
disguise because Fred, who I think has been having a better performance recently overall, just in his actual role, not maybe goal scoring. Excuse me, is probably going to start now. So, I mean, again, about the stats up, right? Gat, you said it before. You look at it, it was just another bad performance. Possession was 52 for United, 48 for Wolves. Total shots. Now, this is where I was kind of like dumbfounded because I've always come on here and said United are very top heavy, very Mason Greenwood shot monster, Ronaldo shot monster, Cavani shot monster, Rashford shot monster. Total shots for United 9, Wolves 19, on target for United 2, for Wolves 6. It's just like if you're gonna play Ronaldo, if you're gonna play Ronaldo in your team, and you're not gonna accommodate your game around him, at least put in players around him that can assist him. Don't put in Mason Greenwood and Rashford who are just gonna shoot every ball and not beat Ronaldo because that's what he's there for, to score goals. He's a poacher. That's all he is
But
now.
there are no players to accommodate Ronaldo apart from Sancho. In
That's
my
it.
opinion, there's not one player apart from Sancho who can accommodate Ronaldo and can give Ronaldo
That's why I
the
think it was a wrong
best
signing.
environment to score.
That's why looking back at it, I think it was a bad signing because they blocked
I agree.
Greenwood's path.
I mean, I'm hoping to see a little bit more of Van de Beek now going forward. I mean,
Van,
But like,
Ralph,
he's not gonna help either. He's
but yeah, but he's a number 10, so I mean, you got to give him the chance to shine. He hasn't really
I
played
don't think
much.
he's a number 10.
Ralph has already come out and said that he wants to keep him to the end of the season, so hopefully that means a lot more game time. So I mean,
Phil
we got to
Jones
see. We
has more stars than Van de Beek. Like, dude, I'm sorry, man. I can't take this like, oh yeah, he says this, but they don't act by it. Like, I can come out here and say I will support Arsenal till the day I die, and then next week they have a horrible game, and then oh yeah, they suck. No, they sacked the manager. That Ralph says all these things, but I mean, I don't see anything. You know, like there was no fight, there was no hunger. I don't know, man. I was expecting a lot more when he came in. The 4-2-2-2. I still don't understand how that works. I
Yeah,
don't know.
I mean, I think the second half they did switch over to a back three, which did help a little bit. So I wonder if that's Ralph's cue to try something else. That doesn't have to be a back three. It could just be something that's not 4-2-2-2.
Do you
But
want another change? Like I know. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. There has to be a change, yes. But do you want another change in system, or do you want a change in personnel?
I would rather probably change in personnel just because we're trying to get used to one system, and changing over to a brand new
That's it.
system is just not. That's just pointless because now they're maybe getting used to one, not really, but now you're going to introduce something else to get used to something brand new. Like no, I
No.
mean, you gotta thin the ranks. We gotta get some new people in, and we gotta get people that want to actually play and not just individuals that have their own talent that are trying to do everything by themselves.
Yeah. That's a good point, man. And that's. I mean, look, this. I was expecting a draw out of this game, but I did not expect this result. Jose Sa had a phenomenal performance again. I think he's one of the top
He's
ranked
low
goalkeepers.
key. He's low key been flying under the radar as like
I
a top goalkeeper
sent
this
it to
season.
Nick.
Isn't he the most saves, right?
I'm gonna tell you right now. I sent it to Nick in I believe through here we go through Instagram. So best goalkeepers in the Premier League at the moment is between Sa and Ramsdale. Jose Sa has the best save percentage at 80%. Ramsdale is right behind him at 77.5 and Eduardo Mendy at 77.1. And then the most goals prevented, Aaron Ramsdale at 4.76, Jose Sa at 4.63, and David De Gea at 3.78. So, I mean, yeah, that is literally on point with what they're saying. He's been in incredible form this season. So shout out to him and shout out to I keep forgetting his name, the coach for Wolves, Brian Leon.
Bruno Lage.
Bruno Lage, sorry. Who I just saw stat today. The last time Wolves won at Old Trafford, he was only 8 years old, and to do that, I think again, obviously didn't see the game, but Nick, I'm sure you saw the reaction to the players. They looked pretty emotional and pretty happy to get that result. Which I mean, if you're anybody going into Old Trafford and you get a win, it's a big day in your life. So congratulations to Wolves. They brought it to them, had a great game. Traore is just fucking running muscle man with oil on him. I just want to say that real quick because I think he's absolute washed now at this point, honestly. But he was the catalyst.
He's still hilarious to watch as he gets all this open space. And granted, the one day he actually gets a good cross back in, but he's
it wasn't that good of a cross. That's the thing. It wasn't that good
for
of a cross.
him. For him,
But
well.
I can't lie, bro. He's fun as fuck to watch, man. At least in my opinion. In my opinion,
man.
I know, but he's so fun to watch, dude.
He's hilarious to watch for me because you see him trying to create something and then you just know what's gonna happen. It's just a matter of how it's gonna happen.
Exactly. So who would you want to watch? St. Maximum? Traore.
Same maximum all day.
All day, man. He has
Yeah,
more product than Traore. Traore is just he just runs at you and he's oiled up, so you're gonna slip off of him. That's pretty much it. But yeah. Crazy performance. We are gonna have a break in the Premier League. We have some Carabao Cup, and is there an FA Cup action coming up too?
Yeah, there's Carabao Cup, FA Cup, and then we're back on like the 18th or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's 18th or 16th. Arsenal will be traveling to the White Hart Lane or whatever this team's called now. But we are gonna have a break. Arsenal will be facing Liverpool in 2 fixtures. Spurs facing I'm not sure who. I'm trying to figure out right now.
Face Chelsea.
Ooh, Chelsea. Okay, so Spurs Chelsea in the Carabao Cup semifinal. So we will see who will let us know who you guys think is going to be in the final for that cup. Aside from that, guys, that's all we got. Anything else you want to get off your chest? I think that was a great episode today, man. Honestly, that was very, 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 very a lot to talk about. But anything you guys want to get off your chest? Anything? Any final thoughts? Final points? No. All right. Then, with all that being said, that is it for today. We are the BenchWarmers, the Bench of the Voice. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting. Be safe. This is the Bench, where the bench is always warm. Peace, everybody.